try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living.
Okay, welcome, Volunteers for Israel Educates. Today is episode number 200. Yay! That means since June of the year 2000, this is the 200th episode. And for those folks who might want to see some of the past episodes, if you go to our index, which is located at tinyurl.com/VFI educates, the number 2, then you can see our index to all past episodes, including the prior episode just a week ago. The scheme today will be, we have at least 3 presenters, all from Israel. We will follow their presentations with a Q&A period, and then we enter into our schmooze period. Our time is open between now and 9 p.m. tonight, so if anybody wants to stick around, you're welcome to do that. Before our presentations, I'd like to mention that today, for the first time, we are simulcast viewing this on YouTube. Should you have to leave this address you're at now, because as Alana mentioned, we've maxed out at 100, you can go to the YouTube. And what you want to do there is type in tinyurl.com/VFI YouTube, one word. And that'll bring you right to it. If that doesn't work, then go to YouTube/Volunteers for Israel. So we're simulcasting on YouTube. We can only hit 100. We've already made 100 here. So congratulations on being in the first 100. I see Shai is with us, and I see that Major Yuval is with us, and Julia's with us. So Alana, can you give us a quick update on VFI related matters?
Yeah, I'm getting, I would say, multiple calls every day with people wanting to go and volunteer. Because many of the beds are being used with all of the soldiers who've been called in, there's way fewer beds for us volunteers, even though they need us. So for now, it seems like November is full. But if you do want to go volunteer, there are some spots that may open up in December. It's on a, it's constantly changing, but check with your regional manager, and then we'll pick up again in January. Hopefully there will be many more spots for us, as hopefully I don't know, there's people on here who know more than I do, but hopefully the war will be getting a little bit more quiet. So if you'd like to go on vfi-usa.org, click contacts, click the state in which you live, and contact your regional manager for that state.
Great. Thank you, Alana. This war has taken everybody by surprise and shocked. Most shocking, perhaps, is the war has moved on to multiple fronts, including our backyard here in the United States, with university issues and anti-Semitic things happening left and right. The news has really been overwhelmed with this whole episode. Today, we're going to talk on 1 or 2 or 3 of the topics, and there are many others that we're not going to try to cover today. And so I'd like to first introduce Lieutenant Colonel Shai Schul. He's over 25 years experience in the IDF. He is currently active duty, I think still, and Shai is in charge of the forensic medicine unit for the IDF. He has presented to us several times before, and we were fortunate enough to have him living in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for about 2 years as a security liaison officer for the IDF. So Shai, can you start us off on your discussion of activities today? And following that, I'm going to ask Julia if she could not introduce Major Yuval Niv, who will be our second presenter, also from Israel. Shai?
Hello all. Hello, Major Niv, here in Israel. Usually, I'm happy and I'm here to speak with you. I think this is my 3rd or 4th time that I'm speaking with you. And usually it's about, good things that we are doing or something like that. And sadly, this time I'm here during a war. And I thought I will manage to do that last week. But as some of you know, I didn't appear because I had something else to do. As Steve said before, I'm a lieutenant colonel in the IDF for 28 years actually, and I just released from the IDF less than a year ago, last January. So I'm a reservist, and I wanted to talk with you, to share with you few things from my perspective as an officer, as a reservist officer in the IDF. In the past, on Saturday, it will be 4 weeks since the beginning of the war. I will speak a little bit about the 7th of October, the Black Day. And after that, I will share with you some of the things that I'm doing in the IDF Medical Corps. And as Steve mentioned, I'm part of the forensic medicine team that doing all the work to know who is who in the military side. I will be short, not more than 50 minutes. 7th of October, it was Saturday. Saturday morning, I was actually in Armenia in a humanitarian mission on behalf of the Ministry of Health. In Armenia, there was a group of refugees that ran away from Karabakh to Yerevan, the capital of Armenia. And on their way there, they stopped in a fuel station to get some fuel to their cars. And 600 men went down to the depot, to the fuel depot, and there was an explosion. So I went so Armenia asked for help, and I went there with two teams, one from an hospital in Jerusalem, and the second one was from a hospital in Soroka in Beersheba, and we were there for almost a week. And on Saturday morning, 7 o'clock, 7:50, there in Armenia, 1 hour gap, there was an alarm for my phone, for my cell phone, and it wasn't a regular alarm. It was a Tseva Adom alarm, which means the alarm is going up and down, up and down, up and down, which means there are missiles. Because my phone and this app is always stationed on my home house, so I understood there is an alarm near Anana, where I'm living at. So I called back home. My wife told me, okay, there is an alarm. I'm going to the shelter. It was shocking, center of Israel, not far from Ra'anana. I assume most of you knows Tel Aviv, Ra'anana, Kfar Saba, and it was shocked. Like Saturday morning, 6:30 in Israel, there was an alert over here. All the family went to the shelter. Most of you knows that we have shelters in every house, almost every house in Israel. And it's always ready, to something like that. It's insane. I was living for 3 years in Harrisburg, and I spoke with people over there, and it's insane to have a shelter in your own house, except if it's for hurricane. And 1 hour later, there in Armenia, I understood that it's something different. Because I spoke over the phone with one of the officers that used to be my officer. She lives in Sderot. And she told me, you can't believe what I can see from my window. And she sent me a video of a white pickup truck with a terrorist on it, with Hamas terrorists in the center of the road. So I understood that this is something different. Make long story short of how I got back to Israel. 2 hours later, I was on a flight from Yerevan, Armenia to Cyprus, to Larnaca, Cyprus. The flight flew over Iran, Iraq, Syria to Larnaca. And by 7 o'clock p.m., I was back in Israel. And directly to my unit in the IDF Medical Corps. Now I want to go back to 6:30 in the morning. I don't know all of you saw some of the movies or the pictures or the videos or the clips or the, you know, if you're on Facebook or Telegram or Instagram or what. But I think it's important to share with you what we saw at that morning. And then I will share with you, and sorry for that, some of the things that I'm seeing in the forensic medicine unit. So everything that you are reading and seeing, multiple in 10. Something like 3,000 terrorists occupied all the suburbs of Sderot, 24 cities or villages or kibbutzim around Sderot, around Gaza, where with terrorists in it, families, children, babies, soldiers in their beds, in their units. If you're familiar with the map, so there is the, let's say, 5 kilometers around Gaza, there are the kibbutzim, and if you're going 30 kilometers or 20 kilometers from Gaza, you can find Ofakim. There was terrorists from Hamas in Ofakim. There were terrorists of Hamas in Sderot, in Nir Am, in Kfar Aza. I want to share with you some of the stories. I have a good friend. He's also from the IDF. He is now the head of security of El Al company in Miami. And his sister lives in Kfar Aza. Kfar Aza is one of the kibbutz who suffered the most, heroic, terrible things during this 7th of October day. He lives over there, and she was, as everybody over there, they heard the alarm, the alert, the Tzeva Adom. So they went to a shelter. In the shelter, there were her, his sister, her husband, and their little 12-year-old kid. And the elder daughter, she's 20, she was in the youth building. The youth building in the kibbutz, all the youngsters are over there. Saturday morning, Shabbat Baboker. And this was the most closest fence to Gaza. It's about 1 kilometer. And she heard the alert, the Tzeva Adom as well, and she went to a shelter. She called her father and told them, I'm in the shelter, everything is okay. They were in another shelter in the same kibbutz, about 5 minutes drive. They were okay. But few minutes later, they started to hear some shooting in the kibbutz. First, RPGs, and then real shooting from Kalashnikovs. And she told her parents, on the hotline, that she can hear shooting, and they heard it as well. After an hour with a hotline between parents and daughter, 20 years old, she told them, someone shoot me in the hand. So her father told her, okay, wait there, I'm coming. He took the car, he started to drive there. On his way there, he saw someone, he told him, someone shoot my daughter, come with me. And a second later, a heavy fire was starting on him, on his car. He managed to evacuate himself. He found a place to hide in the center of the kibbutz, and He is alive, but she was found dead 24 hours later in the room that she was at with another friend in the same room. So this is one of the stories, not the stories, it's a real life. And I'm telling it to you, right, looking at your eyes, 100 people, and telling it to you because those things happened 4 weeks ago. Just 4 weeks ago, babies were burned. Kids were needed to hide in the closet while their parents were slaughtered or murdered. And not only one, not only two, 1,400. Over 200, 250 are
Okay, now I see you.
kidnapped.
Have a seat.
Still,
Yeah.
still in Gaza.
Down in front of your computer.
Yeah, I was, and then I just went to the bathroom.
Please put yourself on mute. Please put yourself on mute.
No, I haven't seen her name on the list.
Well, I have to
Who
stay
is
away
that?
from the computer to hear you.
Okay,
Just put yourself on mute.
the list.
I'm sorry, Shai. We're going to try to eliminate that.
No worries.
Said there were 100 people
I know, but
attacked.
I didn't see her name.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Moving, let's say a few hours forward, there was a unit, usually sits in Tzelim. Tzelim is the national ground center for training for the ground forces in Israel. So they called all the staff to come back to the on Saturday. So all the staff came back to the base, took the weapon, started to fight. Some of the units in that base were responsible to evacuate the youngster that were in the party in Reim, near Reim, near Be'eri. And they were responsible to evacuate the live people that were safe over there, not too many.
It looks like we might be having a bandwidth issue. If you
And
can,
all the dead over there, they were.
yeah, if you can just eliminate your picture, that might simplify the bandwidth issue. Just hit stop video.
Not you, Shai. It would be everybody else.
Okay.
We want to see you, Shai.
Yeah, thank you.
Got it.
If
Got it.
everyone in the audience could please click. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
So they were responsible, the unit were responsible to what
Shai,
responsible
it seems to be freezing. We're missing some of what you're
to
saying.
evacuate two bodies.
Shai frozen for everyone else? Steve, is Shai frozen for you?
Yes, yeah, we have a bandwidth issue out of Israel. Let's give it a few moments. This has happened before. It's not all that unusual. But if you do have your picture up, it'd be good if you just hit the start video button so that your picture is gone.
I'm seeing most people still have their videos on. If you could try to just turn your cameras off, that might help. You can always turn them back on once we're done.
Lower left-hand corner says start video. Just hit that and the picture will go. Can you hear us, Shai?
Shai, you're back. We can't hear you.
Go ahead.
Shai.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, Shai's unable to unmute himself. He must have
Really?
left. Okay, go ahead, Shai. Try it again.
Okay, I'm good.
There we go.
Yes. So this, I say that this unit was responsible to evacuate all the dead bodies from this party to my best of the forensic medicine.
Hmm.
Moving few hours forward. I landed in Israel. It was Saturday, 7 p.m. And in my, so I'm part of the IDF Medical Corps, and my responsibility in this war is for the forensic medicine, for the blood donation, and
Wow.
for units that we are sending to the front line. And we sent many units to the front lines to take care of casualties. You know, all the helicopters, all our helicopters were taking troops to the front lines and taking back, evacuating medevac of casualties from the front lines to the hospitals. And in my role in the forensic medicine, I was one of the officers over there. But in forensic medicine, just for you to understand, we are having every soldier, every civilian, we are taking his teeth pictures, we are taking DNA, we are taking finger twists. To understand and to identify who is with us. And I'm trying to pick the right words, but I think you can understand what our officers, what our dentists, what our forensic doctors, our pathologists, what me myself saw over there. And I have not enough words to say, to let you understand the terrible things that we suffered. Moving 2 weeks forward, we are now in a war. Our troops are in Gaza. And the goal of the war is to destroy Hamas. This is the main goal of the war, to destroy Hamas, to eliminate these terrorists from our lives. We always say that Hamas equal ISIS, but now not only we know it, all the world know it. And the goal of this war is to eliminate Hamas. It's not an easy job, and it's not a job without casualties from our side. And as you probably know, we lost 13 soldiers just yesterday. And the other goal of the war is to bring back the hostages. Again, babies, youngsters, female, male, and we want to elders, and we want to bring them back. I want to finish my part of this brief in some good things. You know, I'm going to see the people of Israel giving blood donations. And I'm there, you know, in Tel Aviv, in the north, in the south, and I'm seeing the good Israelis that are coming from everywhere to give blood, because to donate blood, because they know we need it, and they know it will help us. This is one good story. The other good story is about two young men that I met just a week ago. Both of them are from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. One is Felix Tao, and the other one is Martin Brill. Both of them came on Friday a week ago, took a flight, came to Israel, and I met them on Sunday in the Matzrap, helping us to build some medical kits, and they are doing a tremendous job to help us win this war. And I know they are part of you, so I wanted to say thank you.
Well, thank you, Shai. There's nothing better than firsthand, direct evidence of things that have happened, and we appreciate you sharing those tough stories. They are really, I'm sure there's a number of questions on the table, but I think at this point, I think we'd like to proceed with Yuval's discussion. Julia, who was on previously, had to log off for a moment, and then upon logging on, discovered that she couldn't. Why? Because we have 100 people plus on this, and so she is listening in on YouTube right now. So I'll introduce Yuval Niv, Major in the reserve. He's an Air Force.
No, retired. Sorry.
Retired? Oh, retired. Yeah. Oh, okay, just as well. So retired Air Force pilot, but a member of Brothers and Sisters, as is Julia. And he holds a master's in chemical engineering and works as a materials engineer at Raval in Beersheba. He's going to share some of his personal experience as a volunteer for the organization Brother in Arms. It's the largest civil aid volunteer organization in Israel, and it's involved in every possible aspect of warborn civil and military needs. So Major retired Yuval, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I just got a message that the host disabled participant screen sharing. It would be very useful if I could share the screen.
Dave, you have to change it to multiple.
I will take care of that.
Yeah, as you see that, I just want to say that I am here. I am back.
I fixed it, Steve.
Steve already used Yuval so well, so you don't need me for that. Just to let you know that I'm here, and I'm glad to see you all again.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, you're up.
Okay, okay, how do I get this window to be small? I think I found it. All right. So being an engineer and a civilian, I will speak for myself and my experience with the brothers and sisters in arms. And I'm looking at this issue as a project managing issue in a chaotic environment. Do you see the presentation properly? Because I'm not sure that you do.
Yes.
Yeah, we do see it.
Is okay. So, brothers and sisters in arms. Actually, in Hebrew, the word brothers can serve for both, but I'm trying to be just and correct. So it's brother and sister in arms. It's a grassroots movement which really started as we were protesting against the Israeli government plan for judicial overhaul, which we considered extremely dangerous to freedom and democracy. So we were holding protests in the streets for 40 weeks, non-violent protests. And we were successful a bit, but not enough. But during this time, something happened that for me as an engineer who is more experienced with figures and numbers, is maybe a little bit difficult to understand and even more so to convey. I think that we have rediscovered the Israeli spirit, which we thought to have been lost. And it was an overwhelming feeling. And there was a great feeling of fraternity and networks, social networks that are known to be very tightly woven in Israel. Israelis know quite a lot of others, or quite a few other people, and there's always this connection that you find. Those networks seem to have become even more tight and with smaller gaps, and an infrastructure was built such that for any event, if you need to respond quickly, you could have anything between 100 to a few thousands of people going to in a very short notice to a certain place to do some kind of a protest. So this is where the brothers and sisters in arms was until October 7th. I will be speaking of this area, which used to be called the surrounding Gaza, and now we resent this name, and we call it the Northwest Negev or the West Negev. The distance between here, the edge of the Gaza Strip, to the other side, where the borders of Egypt, Gaza, and Israel meet, is about 30 miles. That's all. Okay? And I will touch base with all the purple dots here. I want to introduce Kinneret. Kinneret is a classmate of my older sister. She was 68 years old on this year. She lives in Kibbutz Be'eri. Her younger sister is my classmate. I've known her all my life, and she's been a very, very close friend of my sister's. This is a picture by Hamas on October 7th morning. She was taken out of her house. Her hands are tied, and she is going to be murdered within 200 feet of this place in Kibbutz Be'eri. In the house were also Alon, the son of Kinneret, his wife, Yarden, and their daughter, 3-year-old daughter, Geffen. They will be abducted, taken in a car towards Gaza, and for some miraculous reason, the car stopped, and they all three jumped out. Alon and Geffen managed to hide and reach the kibbutz back and found their way to safety. Yarden got separated, and she's believed to be held hostage in Gaza. Carmel is the daughter of Kinneret, and Carmel was also in that house, and she is also believed to be held as hostage in Gaza. Be'eri is this place here, and it's about 4 miles or less to Gaza. So it's extremely personal. It is personal for each and every one of us. Okay, and it's worse than that. But this was just to make you maybe see how personal it is for us. There's more than, for many people that I know, there's more than one person involved. Everybody knows someone who's there, and it's very, very uncomfortable. October 8th, next day, the infrastructure of the brothers and sisters in arms says, go to Beit Kama. Beit Kama, we are going to start, it's here. This is about 20 miles from less, it's 15 miles to Gaza. We are going to start our headquarters there. There will be a front there that we will see what to do. We don't know yet. We'll just go there and see if you can volunteer. So there's about 50 of us coming there in the morning, I meet one of the first people I meet is Kinneret's younger brother. Snir is a friend of mine. And he says to me, you know about my sister? I said, yes, that's why I'm here. And I thought we were going to go inside and look for the bodies and try to retrieve the bodies. But the whole area here is still unsafe and we cannot go. And so we're looking for what to do. They start, the headquarters starts in a tractor's shed. That's what we get in the morning. There's about 50 people. We don't know exactly what to do. This is a flow chart of how you get missions or tasks, and then you assign task to somebody and he's going to do it. That's how it starts. It's October 8th in the morning. Eventually they tell me, okay, go outside, see if there's any soldiers who need a ride and take them wherever you are. Wherever they want. So we go outside. I took alone with me the pistol that was hidden at the bottom of the safe, at the bottom of the closet for many years. And all of a sudden, it seemed like the right thing to do is to hang out with your pistol. I get another guy to go with me, and we are going about the place, soliciting soldiers to try and go aboard in our car, so we can take them anywhere they want. But they all seem to have had their own vehicles, so somehow it just didn't work. Eventually we said, okay, let's go to the central bus station of Beersheba. Again, I'll show you. We are here. It's about 10 miles. We go to Beersheba. We go to the central bus station. And the site is very how should I say it, displeasing. There are tens of soldiers, maybe more, maybe hundreds of soldiers waiting for buses to take them to their bases, and they're just not, but no buses are available. It is heartbreaking to see that. So we push in the car as many soldiers as we can, and we go to Selim, which is a base about here. You see the this blue, this purple dot here. Now we cannot take the short route because this area is still not secured. There's still lots of terrorists in here. So we go the longer route, about, instead of 25 miles, we make it a 50-mile ride. We get to Tselim, we put the soldiers there. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of havoc. There's a lot of heavy traffic. We managed to do it. We go back to Beersheba. We take other soldiers. Next thing that we do, they ask us, okay, can you take us to Netivot? This is here, and to Sderot. Sure, no problems. We go from Beersheba. We start going. This road is closed from here. We know that it's closed, so I'm going the longer way here, this way. I go to Netivot. I drop off the first guy, and then I try to go to Sderot the short way. It's like 5 minutes this way. It's closed. They don't let me through. The place is not secured, so I have to go around. I go this way. I go to Sderot. I bring the two guys, a guy and a girl, to where they asked me to, and the city looks, there's in Walt Disney's world, we had a fantasy land, we had a Tomorrowland, and we had Frontierland. So Sderot looks like a bit like Frontierland. Here, in the streets are empty. Here in this place, there is a car parked with door open and some of the glasses broken. It seemed to have been left there in a hurry, and people just rushed into the house and just left the car there. No one is seen on the street. All of a sudden, a platoon of 30 paratroopers is passing by, and we just don't believe our eyes. I mean, we are, if you look at this place, we are in Sderot. It's considered a safe place. No reason to feel uncomfortable, and we see soldiers in a combat array in Sderot. Okay, we get back to Beit Kama. By the time from the morning that we started from a tractor shed, the brothers and sisters in Am got a club. with facilities, running water, toilets, everything, and started operating from there. The first few days will be very hectic, very long, and every day, at the end of the day, they will have a debriefing and improvements to be done to the next day. Can you see the whole thing, or is it hidden at the top?
No, we see it all. We see it
You
all.
see it all. Okay, October 9th. October 9th, we have a mission to evacuate Nepalese students who are somewhere around here. We cannot take the short route. We have to go down through Tselim. Tselim is a bottleneck. It's a Monday I started working, so I quit work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I go from the yeshiva where I work to Beit Kama. It's a 15-minute ride. I get into a group of a convoy is formed of 7 cars. In each car, 2 people. One is the driver, and the other one has a weapon, usually a pistol, no more than that. And our mission is to evacuate Nepali students from somewhere near in the Eshkol region in the northwest Negev. There already is a special software that is used as a walkie-talkie within the group. We have a leader and a rear guard of the group. We are all on the same channel. We have a mission that we get from headquarters, and we have one of the cars has a locator that the headquarters can know where we are. And it's an operation. It's 24 hours since the last time I was there, and the operation is working like you would love to have, your children taken on a trip like this. Everything is secured, everything is covered, everybody knows where everyone is, and we're going 7 cars into to the south to get to this place near the border to evacuate the students. We get stuck in a heavy traffic near the Tselim base. It takes us 2 hours just to go past that place. By the time we arrive at the meeting place, the rendezvous place, we realized that the task was snatched from us. Somebody else did it. So at least we took some packages with us to Tselim, which we brought to the soldiers there. And so, okay, I said, let's go back. Let's go back. Again, we're here. We don't take the short route to Beit Kama, which is quite short. Why? It's not secure. So we go back 50 miles again, go around the place. And listen, this is the middle of Israel. We are in the middle of Israel. It's not secured. By the time we pass Beersheba and get close to Beit Kama, we are told that maybe we will not be able to get to Beit Kama because 2 terrorists on motorcycles were seen here and were shot down, and the army is looking at the place to make sure that it's clear and you can go. Anyway, we stop at the bus at a petrol station here to debrief within the convoy of 7, and by the time we do that, we're told that the place is clear, and so whoever wants to go to Beit Kama goes to Beit Kama, and I call it a day, and I go home. I get home about 11 p.m., 11 at night. That was October 9th. 3 days later, I go to on October 12th. It's a Thursday. I finish work early. I go to Beit Kama again. All of a sudden, what you see is a completely different operation, smooth and efficient like you wouldn't believe. And it all happens like in 4 days. So now the logistics center, which was located here, was moved to this place. So you come to Beit Kama, you get your task, you get the briefing, you get your group. This time we were 2 cars, and you go to the logistics center. Look at this place. Somebody gave us this place for free to use. And parcels are being sent, or stuff is being collected and sent over here from all over the country. Here it is being dismantled and put together into parcels according to people's request. Here is a list of the requested equipment. It says 20 packs of water bottles, cigarettes, sunscreen, some palziv, doesn't matter, and 20 underwear, boxer short underwear. In this parcel, it has a number 1878. It is destined to Tzelim. So on the car, we put as many parcels as needed to Tzelim. This is the mission. Since many of the volunteers are my age, 64 or more, and not all of us are very familiar or very fluent or very digital, have very good digital skills. The system of papers work pretty well. And so it says the number of the mission, who made it, who's the telephone number to call, what it is that you have to do. So this is who is requesting, who is looking at the logistics, and when it's finished, where to report, how to report. And we go to Tzelim and we dispatch 4 or 5 such parcels, and we get to have a selfie picture with this lovely soldier who is looking after her platoon. So these are the 3 of us. This is an engineer from Israeli Chemicals Israel. This is yours truly, Yuval, with the Air Force insignia on the T-shirt. And this guy is from Kibbutz Hatzerim, a neighbor. That was October 12th. By October 13th, the system gets even more efficient. There is a group in Tel Aviv. There's headquarters in Tel Aviv. For every issue, for every subject, there is a subgroup. So there's not too much interference of information, and they try to control the information such that you don't have double booking of requests, and you don't have double booking of tasks assigned to a person, or double booking of double booking of people or groups to a task. So a single task has to get a single group to carry it out. And there is a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise. The ratio of noise to signal is huge. So the system has to find a way to sort it out, and they do. And it works. Alongside, before going into these, there's a group of the smartest and brightest brains in the computer engineering and cyber war in Israel that is sitting in Tel Aviv. They're all volunteers. They all work for the most desired companies in the world, and they are collecting, analyzing big data concerning the missing people. There were about, I don't know, few thousand, maybe 2,000, maybe 3,000 people at the party. I assume there's about 300 deads there. I'm not quite sure about the figures. We have kibbutz members there's like 20 old kibbutzim around the Gaza Strip that were attacked. There are telephone numbers, there are locations of telephones, there are pictures which the Hamas put on the air, there are pictures which they ask from friends and relatives to send them from Israel, so they can try and match the pictures from Hamas with pictures from Israel. And all this information is being collected and analyzed and pushed to Mossad, to Shin Bet, to the military, to the government, because this is the only group who is able to do it at the time, and and the other institutions are way behind what these people are doing. And most of the information of who is dead and who was abducted, who is in Gaza and who is in Israel was collected by these people. Most of the initial information, and it was pushed from them to the government. This is in Hebrew. Okay, so it says transportation. There's a group that is dealing with transportation. There is a group that is dealing with collecting donations. There is a group for civilian support and military support. Military support was almost from the beginning was excluded to be handled in different manner, in such a way that the army can work together with our system. Hot meals, attending the cows and milking them in the cow sheds. By the way, my daughter is going to Kibbutz Nir Oz next week for a week to be there to work, help milking the cows, to work with the cows. She used to work for 5 years with cows. They're looking for professionals. She's going there. On top of the organized way, there's also what is not so organized, and so you get the name of the kibbutz, the name of the person in charge, and his telephone number, and you can call him direct. And you can make contact with this person and go and find a way to help him. In many of these places, which are located within 3 miles or so from Gaza, you must coordinate your entrance with the army. You cannot just go in there as you please. In Sderot, in the town of Sderot, again, brothers and sisters in arms have the ability to get the focus on what is necessary at any time, and the agility and the flexibility to change focus as necessary. So after 48 hours, after 5 days, people realize that nobody is really looking at what happens in the houses in the town of Sderot. So our people from the area go to the headquarters and say, listen, we're going to go door to door and see if there's anyone there ill, sick, needy, handicapped, hungry, whatever. And so volunteers of brothers and sisters in arms are mapping the town of Sderot. They're going door to door. They found at least one couple that I know of, very old people who were alone, who were unable to contact anyone, who did not have supplies for a few days, and they just saved their lives just by going from door to door. And the brothers and sisters in arms, actually what they give is the infrastructure to control all this operation, and also the ability to decide which missions we take and which missions we can leave off to someone else. And it took the city or the town council, and it took the government a long time to start to function. And even as we speak today, it still is, its function is not so pleasing. That day, I myself was decided I will try to do things the Lone Ranger style. So I instead of going inside, getting through all the process of getting a mission, I was just looking for something to do. And here I am at Bet Kama, and I meet with a police officer who didn't seem to have much sleep in the last few days. And he tells me that his car is stuck here in Kfar Aza, and nobody wants to go with him inside to bring it out. So I said, okay, let's go together. And we take this route. And as we stop on the way, the soldiers stop us their checkpoints at certain places. And and we go take this route, and the soldiers stop us, and he says, okay, we are both police officers. I became a police officer, right? I'm wearing civilian. The car has been recruited. It's my car for the police, and we are going to get his car and my car. That's what he says. And so we get past all these checkpoints. We go to Kfar Aza. We find his car. It's a new car. It's a little broken. It has been broken into and ransacked. Nothing is inside. He's unable to start it. So I go around and we jump start it with cables that I have, and we go out. At the time we're here, there's a bit of rocket shooting, but we managed to get safe out to this place. That very day, when I get to Bet Kamal, they ask me to wait. It's Friday, October 13th, and the two refugee women coming out of Sderot, they need to be taken to Jerusalem, and I wait for them. And as I meet them, I realize that one of them needs medical. She said her arm hurts, so I go and ask, "Is there a medic here?" And a guy comes out and said, "Well, is a specialist orthoped doctor okay for you?" I said, "Yes." And this guy is attending to this woman, and he makes the diagnosis properly. He tells her what to do. He gives her the medicine that she needs, and we go to Jerusalem. That is October. Oh, sorry. Page down. Let's see. We were here. That's it. So that was the Lone Ranger days. Now I'm going to tell of a story of a brothers and sisters in arms from a different point of view. October 25th, Noam is the youngest son of my wife. He is on reserves. We have between the two of us, there are four children. There's 3 boys in reserves, two of her sons. My son is on reserves, and my daughter, as I said, is going to work milking the cows next week. Noam is at a restricted zone. He had his birthday the other day. He needs a cell phone power bank. He's in Zikim. Zikim is here in this area. And again, this area is still restricted. You cannot go in without permission from the military. And what do? We work through the brothers and sisters in arms. I find someone that used to be a colleague of mine. As I said, the network is very tight in Israel. I find someone in headquarters who used to be a colleague of mine, and she's a wonderful person. And I send her a note at 9:20. 4 minutes later, Millie says, "Oh, Yuval, wonderful to see you. Yeah, please also, I'll get this done. Also, please get a note from the parents." Took me another almost 40 minutes to get a note from Noam's father. The note was printed, put in a box with lots of things we did not ask for. Here is the power bank on top. 11:38, the package was dispatched. 13:30, it was delivered. I want you to tell me if you know of any organization who does that. And it is all with volunteers. October 20 to the... which I can't see what I wrote because it's okay, it's October 20th, October 27th, both these Fridays, we were working in the helping the farmers in the northwest Negev. This is 1-star General Amir Askel, who is always at the front, who is always leading, Air Force pilot with lots of a very respectful record of service, and that's what he's doing. These two young ladies picking cucumbers, and here I am. This is my team. This guy has lost a leg in Lebanon. This guy has lost his right arm in Lebanon, and I'm the only one who is only missing probably something in the brains. Otherwise, I wouldn't be hanging out with these guys who are marvelous sportsmen and Paralympic swimmers, and also friends of mine. And we go picking tomatoes. So this is, and tomorrow we meet again to do pretty much the same thing. This week, October 31st, I'm at work in Beersheba. Someone says, listen, there's this guy from kibbutz. This guy from kibbutz, page up. From kibbutz Nir Oz, which is near the border. Show you where Nir Oz is. Why does it not work? Doesn't work. Page up. This one should work. Nir Oz is here. There's about a mile between Nir Oz and the fence. And the guy from Nir Oz is in Eilat. He's going up north to go home. His duty in Nir Oz will be to dig graves and to attend to the cows and maybe other missions. 24-year-old kid. So I tell them, okay, I'll take him, bring him to Beersheba. Don't go to Beit Kama, bring him to Beersheba. They bring him to me. I go with the guy, bring him home, and Nir Oz is a very sad place. It had 450, a population of 450 on October 7th morning. The population today is less than 200. I think it's 190 or so. And that's just one house from that kibbutz. And I think this is where I pass the torch to Yulia to tell of what she did today or yesterday.
Yuval, toda rabba. Yuval, thank you so much. I did not know that you have a personal connection. I did not know that you're related to, well, sorry about that. And thank you so much for sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's difficult to start talking about. So maybe I guess we have some questions. So shall we start with questions first? What do you think? So we can, do other things.
Julia, if you have any insider firsthand experiences you want to share, now would be a good time. Then we can go to questions.
Okay. Yuval, is it okay? Can you stay with us?
Sure.
Okay. So, all right. Thank you. So, thank you so much. So, guys, it's I haven't seen you for long time. Life was back to normal. I kept thinking of you, but I did not attend the schmooze, and here we are, and life had stopped. So first of all, I am doing pretty much all of what Yuval described. You can see right here behind me, that's me and Sharona, a good friend of mine, a colleague. Some of you might even personally know her. We were picking cherry tomatoes about 1 mile away from Gaza the day before yesterday. You can see how dirty we are. I don't know if you can see the background, but it's very dirty. It's pretty hard physically. You're sitting on your knees for 6 hours in a greenhouse. It's very hot, very humid, and you hear the cannons and the bombs constantly. I mean, constantly, every single second. And this is something we really feel we need to do because it's, that's the best we can do as civilians. Our volunteering was organized by Brothers in Arms. There are at least one other organization doing the same, but Brothers in Arms were the first to realize what is needed. And they are still the biggest organizations supporting the farmers. And I'm also driving people around and food around and supplies around and whatever is needed to go from point A to point B. And then something I did yesterday, and that was really, really hard. I mean, not so much physically, but very much so emotionally, is the last photo, which was shared by Yuval. I don't have it ready. So Yuval, can you please share? Can you please share that last photo with the cars? Yuval, are you here? Okay, he's doing it. תודה רבה. In a minute you will see. Okay, יובל, אתה יכול לשתף רגע מסך שהם יראו את התמונה של הרכבים? Okay,
Julia, let me break in for 1 second. Colonel Schul has to depart. I just wanted to thank him publicly for his firsthand insider accounts and all the things that he experienced that he shared with us. And thank him for attending with us today and wish him well.
Sure. Thank you. Shai, תודה רבה. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
תודה רבה. Thank you, Shai.
תודה. You're doing in better days.
תשמור על עצמך. תשמור על עצמך.
תודה רבה. תודה רבה.
ונתראה אחרי המלחמה.
Go ahead.
יובל, אתה יכול בבקשה לשתף מסך עם התמונה של הרכבים? Okay, I'm not sure if... okay, well, I didn't...
רק שנייה, אני כבר אעשה את זה. Just a minute.
אתה עובד על זה?
כן, share screen.
So, you know, as we're reading this footage.
אוקיי?
אוקיי, תודה רבה. עכשיו תסרט מסך מלא. Okay. Okay, guys. So what you see here is one car park. Actually, there are 2 car parks. It's about 400 cars on each car park, so a total of about 800 cars. And these cars are the ruined cars, the wrecks of the cars, which belong to the people who participated in this beautiful party, beautiful festival. Nireim, which was mentioned before. I'm sure you all heard of it. Young people who came just to listen to music and dance. Some of them survived. Fortunately, one of them is an older sister of my daughter's friend, a neighbor of ours. Others were kidnapped and some were killed. Some of the cars are in a shape which are good for nothing, so they were all brought to this big empty yard, very dusty, very hot, near Moshav Tkuma, which is again not far from Gaza. So you keep hearing the cannons and the bombs, and you hear the helicopters flying above you. And our job as a team from Brothers in Arms was to check each and every car, looking for personal items which will be returned to the families. So what you can see on the lower photo, you see a car with a bag on it, a bag and a booster, little kids booster. Many cars had these boosters. Many cars had these special seats for babies because, young people went to the festival, left the kid with the grandparents and went out for the night and never came back. So it was very hard emotionally. You open a ruined car. Many of them had, blood inside, boosters, toys, personal items, all sorts of things. And you just take it out, you put it in a bag, you put a sticker with the car's number, and then the police took it all, and then they will sort it out and they will just, bring it back to the family. And we had no idea if that particular person, we're looking at, like, here, this is a car I was searching in, and I keep looking at the poster, and I don't know if this kid is an orphan, if this kid lost one parent, two parents, if they did survive, or so yeah, that's something I was doing yesterday for about 6 hours, and it is probably the most difficult task I was, took part, but it's really important. And I have to say that I can't, the government was, well, we were all shocked and caught in a surprise. And I believe if there would be no brothers in arms, so the situation would be even worse. I am a member of quite a few WhatsApp groups. Some of them belong or associated with brothers in arms. Others are independent. I am looking at about 100 WhatsApp messages an hour. Obviously, I cannot read them all, and they all deal with needs. People are in such a great need. We're talking about families who lost their houses. We are talking about kids left. We are talking about 360,000 people being drafted and they left their families behind. We're talking about animals. We're talking, if I'm looking now at my cell phone here, so people are looking to move around: cows, chicken, dogs, kids, grandparents. People are literally paralyzed by fear because all of a sudden adults, normal, healthy adults, are not safe in their homes. They're not safe in their daily activities. And we have messages like a woman from the road needs to go to a physician appointment and she is afraid to go. That's it. Can somebody escort her? And there's always somebody who can escort her. And this is one of the major things I think about brothers in arms, being just available, being there to help people, whatever people need. And this is something really impressive. This feeling of mutual support within the Israeli society is tremendous. And we had such hard time before the war. We're having such a hard time during the war now. I hope in the end of the war we will, that feel of connection, of support, of community. I hope it will remain. We will not get apart again, left and right, and religious, non-religious. The situation here is real tough. It is. But I hope there will be some good coming out of it. That's my hope. So thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Julia. Wow, we've heard today more firsthand insider accounts that I would have never expected. You're not going to see this in the news. And it certainly fills up some gaps in our knowledge base. I'm very impressed with the level of collaboration and immediate development of task forces. Not something I've ever seen in my lifetime. But you're right, the Israeli spirit has recovered, it looks like. And your firsthand accounts certainly make a case. Other things have occurred that affect us on this side in direct relation to the war. So we're not insulated from what's going on and what you're experiencing. At this point, why don't we open the floor to questions, either through chat, if there are any. And Alana, can you check the chat and see if there's anything that we can open up, or just open the floor and anybody to ask a question?
There's questions on the chat, but if anyone would like to unmute or raise your hand and we'll call on you. As in raise your hand on Zoom, not like just actually raise your hand. All right, if not, feel free to unmute if you have any questions.
Well, I have a question. Just a guess as to how long hostilities will be required before the Gaza element of this is quiet? I realize, just a guess. In other words, how long hostilities, the wartime activities will be required? We're talking about a month, 2 months, 3 months?
I don't know if anyone knows this, Steve.
Oh, it's a guess. Yeah, I understand.
I have no idea, but I guess Yuval will have the most, I don't know, educated guess. Yuval?
My opinion is as good as anybody's. I would guess it will take from today another month, maybe 2, till both sides are exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, more or less.
We do have a question from Amy in the chat. She's curious how the Israeli population feels about the hostages. Do they feel at all costs they need to get them out?
We are furious. We feel violated. And the rage under the surface is enormous. And we expect this government of ours to do the utmost to get the people out of there. I think I can connect very deeply to the old saying from the Bible, let my people go.
Yeah, I would like to add, I mean, just as an Israeli, I think we all agree that they have to be back. They have to be brought back by any cost. So the answer to this is yes, at all costs. The question is, what is the right way? What is the right cost in a way? I mean, some people believe that we have to make any agreement, any arrangement, any negotiation with the Hamas, so to have them back, basically exchange our hostages for Hamas prisoners. And other Israelis believe that we should not negotiate with Hamas and we have to fight. We have to fight and get them back by the military action. So we do agree that at all costs, what is going to be the price? We don't know, and that's there is a controversy about this.
Bonnie, I see your hands raised. Do you want to mute yourself? Or did you mean to raise your hand?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to ask Yuval, does he feel that the brothers and sisters in arms, if there's enough volunteers to do the work that needs to be done, are they looking for more volunteers? Are they trying to find people, Israeli citizens, obviously, to come and work with the organization? Or do they feel that they are operating as best they can be with the people that they have?
There seemed to be a surplus of volunteers for brothers and sisters in arms. What was discovered or understood by many people living in the area of hostile action was that I'll try to be not too blunt. Okay, there was the government was dysfunctional. The only organization that was able to give answers and support people with basic needs, or the only not organization, but the only the way you could get your basic needs is by volunteering organizations. There are more organizations, not only brothers and sisters in arms. It happens to be the biggest and the most orderly, and there's this thing of in the beginning everyone was sending SOS messages to in omnidirectional messages to anyone who can help. Within 1 week, people have come to realize that the most efficient organization and the ones where your requests are answered properly or handled, or if they cannot be handled, you're told they cannot be handled, is Brothers and Sisters in Arms.
Mhm.
And it's just the reputation that brings more and more how should I say clients and customers to the organization who will just, this organization will just take any task and we're up to it.
There's a question from Gail. Why isn't each truck carrying aid to Gaza, resulting in at least one hostage return? I don't know that we can answer that.
Go ahead.
Interesting idea, though.
I guess we can answer that. I mean, this is a wonderful question, and we wish that would be the the thing. But the thing, well, Gail, I know you for your wonderful questions. The thing is that the hostages are held by Hamas or Jihad, while the people who are suffering are the civilians. And so we are talking about a humanitarian aid. I mean, we can't morally, we can't internationally, we can't in terms of UN and United States, etc. We cannot let civilians starve to death while our hostages are with Hamas. That's very unfortunate, but this is the thing. Now, what I would also like to add, I mean, I guess the bases now are fully booked. I mean, they truly need every single bed and every single bathroom, and so I don't really know. But my personal feeling is that if you want to help, if you want to be useful, so it's better to do not on the base, but rather in the greenhouses or fields, or generally speaking in farming. Because what happened, I mean, it doesn't make much sense for you guys, but so I have to make just make one step backwards. Before the war and for many, many years, the actual work in agriculture was not performed by Israelis, but rather by Thai people from Thailand, by workers from Thailand, which come here with contracts for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. And they are those who are actually planting the cherry tomatoes and picking up the cherry tomatoes. Now, when the war began, we have, I'm not sure about the number, but we have dozens of Thai workers being kidnapped or killed by Hamas because we have so much farming done around Gaza, what we call the Gaza envelope. By the way, now it's not called Gaza envelope, it's called the envelope of Israel. Otef Aza became Otef Israel. Anyway, so some Thai workers were kidnapped and some were murdered and others escaped. And they have a very good reason. I mean, I don't blame them at all. But the result is that we have no workers doing agriculture. So it started around Gaza Strip, and then when the war, well, not war, but how shall we call it? The attacks, the sporadic attacks coming from Lebanon began. So the Thai workers along the border with Lebanon escaped, and that influenced the entire Thai workers in Israel. So even where I live, which is one of the safest areas now in Israel, halfway between Tel Aviv and Haifa, even in the farming communities around me, the majority of the workers left. So, we have nobody to pick up the crops and to plant the next generation of the crops. And so it is amazing to see. And again, most of it is arranged by Brothers in Arms. And now they're joined by another organization, which is called the Hashomer HaChadash, the new Shomer, the new guard, which primarily work with youth. But that's not enough. I mean, we have so many volunteers. It's really impressive. I was, a week ago, I was picking up peppers not far from Gaza. And on my right-hand side, it was a professor of physics of Tel Aviv University. We had a very interesting discussion while, working. And he happened to work with Professor Yuval Gadot. Some of you might know the name because because he is the archaeologist in charge of City of David excavations anyway. So I had a really interesting discussion with one professor of physics, and then when we were done, I realized that the guy on my left-hand side is a professor of physics as well, while the lady across the row, she is in charge of life science faculty of Ariel University. And then the lady next to me, she teaches Vipassana, which is sort of meditation. What I'm trying to say that it actually helps Israel, helps the farmers, and contributes to your knowledge and experience. So if you feel like helping, come over here and do something with cucumbers, mint, whatever, whatever you want, everywhere.
Fine.
Can I add
ahead,
something on this, please?
Yes, sure.
I would think that the single most important issue where your help will have the strongest weight is to push forward the issue of the hostages. And if you can push this on your congregations, in shuls, wherever people are, this is the single most important issue. The pride of the generals is not as important, and other people will be okay, but the hostages must come out as fast as possible. There are toddlers and infants there. There are very old people. There are ill people who will not sustain a long time in captivity. We must have the hostages out. This is the single most important issue.
No, it's not. What's the question?
I totally agree, of course. We have a few hand raised, and we have a question also on chat. I'm not sure I understand. So, are volunteers leaving the bases for Shabbat? Yes, the answer is yes. Isn't this how Sorel started? Why can't Sorel organize this? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so Bonnie brought that up, and it's something I was wondering at the same time, because since Sorel started, all these volunteers were going over and helping with whatever we could while the soldiers while people went to fight. So it would be great if Sorel could help, set volunteers up elsewhere other than on army bases. I think that's what Bonnie's asking. Pam, do you know anything about this?
Well, first of all, it's a very, very nice idea, but there's no place to set volunteers up. So, volunteers can come, as Yuval said, or as Julia said, people can come to Israel and stay wherever they want to stay. And there are numerous places to volunteer. Julia's volunteering at farms, at orchards, whatever. Yuval has his group volunteering everywhere. I mean, I have my, place right in Tel Aviv where we're sending out hundreds of boxes for soldiers. Zabo went and volunteered at a friend of his winery today, putting the grapes in the vats. And last week he went on a farm, a friend of his. So there are numerous places to volunteers. But
so how do we know if somebody goes there and they want to volunteer one of these places? Who do they, and let's say they don't have a friend. Like if I went, I would tell you I want to help you. But what if they don't know you? Who do they ask?
First of all, I guess you can call Yuval and see what he has in his thing. My other synagogue, not the one where I'm volunteering, every day they're taking people to different farms to pick the crops. There are, once somebody's here, there are plenty of ways to find out. It's not something that you sign up for in advance and pick your dates and say you want to come on November 15th and I'm going to be there for 2 weeks and so I'm going to go to such and such place. It's very, very last minute kind of thing. and you come and you do it. Sarel, from what I understand from everybody who was here for the last couple of weeks, first groups of people were at Matzrap and they stayed at Matzrap. This particular week, the men stayed at Matzrap. The women were taken to Jerusalem. They stayed in a different place. And each day the women were taken to Hatzarim to fill packages for soldiers. Every day, Sarel has day volunteers going to a couple different bases. One group was going to Tira to pack food packages. Other ones they take to Matzrap on a day-to-day basis. So that's the story with Sarel. Next week, from what I've been told, the women who will be there will be back at Matzrap, and they will be working alongside the men at Matzrap. And the reason that not everybody is at the base is because a lot of the beds, we used to be able to hold 60 people at Matzrap. A lot of the beds now have been taken away because soldiers have been staying on the base on Tel HaShomer at different places. So they've taken a lot of the beds away. So now there's only there are only beds for 30 people. So that's why not all the that's why there are not more volunteers that are allowed. And all the other bases that always were used for volunteers are not being used because most of them are down in the south. So they're not being used. And the ones that weren't in the south are in the north. So that's why they're not being used.
Okay.
I would like to add, well, most of the places, I'm talking about agriculture, most of them are really unpredictable, as Pam said, like they need it today, they don't need it tomorrow. But on the other hand, there are some farms, at least I know some of them, which know for sure that they will need workers for the next couple of months, literally 24/7. Some of them provide accommodation, some of them cannot provide accommodation. It really depends on, the situation. But if you do seriously consider, coming and helping, so then it can be arranged. I can help you with it, or Yuval, or again, there's so many options, but it definitely can be planned ahead of time. I would like to address something I see on chat. Gail wrote, hostages return is not as important as the survival of Israel. My personal feeling, yes, this is the feeling of us Israelis, as the community. We have no doubt that Israel will survive. It's not a question. We will survive. Okay. We don't know how long it will take. We don't know the price, but it will happen. Okay, it's out of question, and we do need the hostages back. We can't survive with the knowledge of so many people being kidnapped.
See Yuval, did he leave?
Yes. No, Yuval is there.
So that's something. I mean, this is first priority.
Absolutely, Julia. And I just wanted to say one other thing, talking about other volunteer things. Another thing we're doing in our warehouse, if you want to call it a warehouse, is last week, at the beginning of the week, a young guy, an Israeli, who's very inventive and a genius and everything, he came and he said that he had been told by friends and by military people that a lot of the tanks and military vehicles do not have proper chargers so that the soldiers can charge their encrypted and unencrypted phones. Otherwise, they have them and they last for a few minutes. So he invented a little plastic thing made out of a few plastic parts, and it's being done in our section. So we have volunteers also there every day, putting together literally thousands of these little plastic parts that are used, and we have soldiers from different units coming every single day, taking 20, 30, 40, whatever, they need for their unit. So it's also another thing. Those of you who have been at Batsop, I call this a mini Batsop, because instead of the helmets with the radio headsets in them, we're doing those. So there are, again, that's another thing to do. But as Julia said, it's very uncertain. One day, a farm might need you. The next day, it might not need you. So
Arlene had a question.
Yeah. Pam, what I wanted to know is, I'm recruiting for the Volunteers for Israel program, and I'm getting at least 3, 4, 5 requests every day. And the big thing is, where are these people going to stay? And so I've been telling them they have to find their own lodging. There may be a few beds available, but it'll be on a, game time thing. Is there anything else I should be telling them?
Well, so far, to tell you the truth, nobody has had to find his or her own lodging. So
okay.
it hasn't happened. I mean, for weekends, of course, but it hasn't happened. They've been they've been at Matzrop, or as I said, this week, women were taken to a dorm somewhere in Jerusalem, and they were taken there, and they stayed there, and they didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So
that's what I needed to know.
But one thing, all of you who are representatives should tell people, if people have ever read that most recent promotion or most recent article about Sarel in the Jerusalem Post, make sure they don't think that men and women can stay together. Because if you read that article at the very end, it said men and women can stay together in the same room. And that is not true, and it's never been true.
Right.
So,
Marcia has a question.
Hi. Yuval, I'm curious. Today I heard that part of the front in Lebanon by Hezbollah has been broken through. Do you have any more information on that? Or does anybody?
I do not. I don't think I have any advantage over you here.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for anybody about anything?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have a request and a question together. Since I was listening very carefully to what Yuval said, that is a priority, bring them home. I know that this week, the Israeli opera organization put a song that said, bring them home, throughout the world. And my point is, can Sarel take a priority of bring them home? And to advertise it through Federation, that this will be one of the priority for every day. I know that today, my friends from Kfar Aza are demonstrating for bring them home. So I think if this is a mission that us in the diaspora can do, we should take it as an advantage to help the country today.
Thank you. Gail had a question about I-24, whether it leans right or left or center. Anybody have a thought on that?
I mean, I happen to think I-24 is excellent, and I just think it gives, it gives the news. I think a lot of people in the U.S. watch it. I watch it here every night when I come home, and I think you get the news. I think you get straightforward news and up to date news. As you all know, Dan Pomerantz has been on it many times. He has strong feelings about things, but I think he gives facts. So
you're saying I-24 is a balanced news source. I agree. I think it's well done. Rob has a question. Rob Polanski.
Thank you. I just wanted to go back to the idea of coming to Israel and volunteering on a day-to-day basis wherever the need arises. Is there a particular section of the country where it's best to situate yourself to do that? And wherever that is, are things like hotels open and supermarkets, and what's daily life like? I'm sure it's changed, but just in terms of the logistics for someone who wanted to come over and volunteer on a day-to-day basis, what's the best way to do that?
Thank you, Rob.
Well, okay. Who will answer? Israelis.
I thought, Julia, you were going to open your house to everybody. Let me just say one thing. Let me say
I
one
have
thing.
a room behind me, behind the greenhouse. There is an empty bed.
Absolutely.
No.
And Harry Schaefer's gonna put yurts everywhere for everybody. Let me just say one thing. I mean, I'm in Tel Aviv, so let me just say one thing. First of all, the Maxim Hotel. So I want to tell you all, the Maxim Hotel is offering special discounted rates to people. So they're offering to anybody who comes. If you say you're doing, Sarel, and even if you're not, it's fine. If you say you are, it's fine. For $120 a night, which is a much discounted rate. Hotels in Tel Aviv are open. Some of them are discounting. Some of them, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the prices of all of them. There are hostels, I guess, that are open. As far as other parts of the country, I mean, I guess Jerusalem has places, but you sort of have to know where to then find places to volunteer, and where it's easy for you to get to places. As I mentioned before, the synagogue near me, they have buses going every day or every other day when they have it. So they have buses going to the various farms to do work. So you have to be able to find somewhere. Julia, do you where'd you go, Julia?
I wanna add something. Quite a few hotels now, especially the large hotels, are used to host people rescued from Gaza Strip, and also from not from Gaza Strip, sorry, was from the Gaza envelope, and also from the northern border. The result is that actually there are much less hotels available today comparing to normal. On the other hand, there are hotels available because we have much less tourists. I would say almost zero. And also inner tourism is much less popular because people don't feel like, taking a vacation and having good time on the beach. So things are less available and more available in the same time. Supermarkets are open. Restaurants and shops are, depending where. I mean, Gaza envelope, most businesses are closed. On the other hand, like Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, things are open normally. Airbnbs are available for sure. And as I said before, many farmers will provide pretty basic accommodation. But if normally you go on basis, so you are okay with basic accommodation, and then, you just wake up and go to the fields. So there are quite a few options.
So if you based yourself in Tel Aviv, places like the AM, PM are open to just
places like, okay, Super Sol, so all the grocery stores are open. A lot of restaurants are not. So, but there are restaurants. There are plenty of restaurants, but yes, the grocery stores are open. The AM, PM, all the markets are open.
Okay.
So you don't have a problem with that.
Okay, iPhone XR has a question. You're on mute.
Yes, hi. I had a quick question. What regions or bases in Israel are the volunteers working at now during the war? And has the specific bases they're working at been changed due to the war?
Do you have any familiarity with that, Pam?
Yeah, as I said before, right now the only base that they're putting people sleeping at is Matzrap. They are sending day volunteers, but those are Israeli day volunteers. They're sending them to a food base up north near Haifa. They're sending them to Hatzarim, which is a little bit south, to do food packages and different things. They were sending some to a base at Rishon LeZion called Tzrifin to do food packages. That's about all they're doing right now as far as what bases.
Thank you.
Yeah, and to answer your question, I mean, to answer your second part, yeah, the war has definitely changed things because those are the only bases available. I have one other thing to say to Arlene, because she was saying what to tell people. I have to tell you that you have to tell people that they are going to be exhausted. Johnny and Jim, most of you know Johnny and Jim, they just left tonight. They were here for 2 weeks. They both are exhausted, absolutely exhausted. Everybody else who's been on the bases that I talk to, that I see on the weekends when they're finished, or that I talk to during the week, they're all exhausted. So make sure that you tell people that if they don't have the stamina, if they have any medical problems, walking problems, anything like that. It's not the old kind of walking problems that we used to have, like, oh, can you go on a little trip when we take you on a tour? These are walking problems because you're standing a lot, because you're moving things, because you're working for many, many hours a day. So make sure that you tell that to people.
And of course, Pamela's hostel is open 24 hours a day for those.
I'm not here because I'm in my warehouse. I'm in my little bunker.
Sheila
12
has
hours a day. So
thank you. Sheila has a question. Sheila Mangle. Hi, Sheila. You had a question? You want to unmute?
I did. I unmuted. And Ron is here also. I don't know if you could see both of us.
It doesn't matter if you can see us or not. Okay. Here's my question. Do we have to go through the regular paraphernalia of entering all the forms and everything else, or can we just go? In other words, if I go, can I just get a place at Maxim, work, stay at the Maxim, pay the $120 a night, and who do I contact then to go volunteer on a day basis? How does all that work? Because I've gotten phone calls from people who want to go volunteer. They go on the site and they say, well, they're not taking anybody till December or something, and they want to go now. One particular person was an Israeli citizen and didn't exactly know how to handle it, and I didn't know what to tell them.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like there might be several answers to your question. One is that they have filled up with Sarel volunteers. And by the way, the number of volunteers I heard as of late was 300 Sarel volunteers, probably a good number of them Israelis. But there's two items on the table. One is the Sarel volunteering. And there I think you will need to go through and fit in and get scheduled and all that stuff. The second is, as was mentioned here, the volunteering freelancing on the various agricultural opportunities. So maybe it's a question with more than one answer, depending on what the people want to do. But I think the military type of volunteering is not day to day. It's more like structured and approved and certified and all that stuff. Did that answer your question?
No. What is day to day? If I come over there and stay at the Maxim,
I think the day to day we're referring to here is to volunteer in an agricultural setting, or to do some kind of volunteer work. And what you might want to do is contact Julia, and she can define for you more opportunities that might fit your interest. Do you know how to get a hold of Julia?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I will put my email now in the chat, and you're more than welcome to contact me. And if I will not have questions, so I will contact you, Val.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
And I think to clarify your answer a little bit, also, you're talking about two different things. Are you talking about coming and being on an army base? Is that what you're talking about?
I think that was pretty clear, Pamela. Thank you.
I think it's pretty clear there is no army base to be on.
Right.
Suppose, can we still come through Sarel and get picked up and taken to a base to work?
No, that's what you can't do. It's all structured, it's organized, it's predictable. You need the paperwork and all that stuff. So give Julia a ring and she can fill you in on all kinds of things that you might be interested in doing. Okay, Lisa has a question. Thank you, Lisa. Go ahead, unmute, please.
Hello. Oh, hi. Oh,
Unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted, right?
Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay. No, I was just going to ask the same question about because I'm coming in a few weeks to be with my kids and grandkids, and I figured, until the kids are out of school for Hanukkah, I would love to do day volunteering. So, Julia, you'll put her email up, or she will. That's the best way to.
Yeah, if you look at the chat, you'll see my email.
Yeah, check the chat for Julie's email.
Okay,
Good
great.
question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Any other questions on the table? Wow, this program has run for almost 2 hours. This might be our longest ever. If there are no further questions, I'd like to do two things. One is to severely thank our contributors today. I did thank Lieutenant Colonel Shai, and I'd like to thank Major Yuval and Julia for their participation. This invaluable first-hand insider accounts are something which we're not getting much of here in America. And this is really valuable to help formulate our heads and keep us thinking straight. So thank you very much for the time you spent with us today. I'd also like to open up at this point the floor for schmooze. You're all welcome to stay. You're all welcome to unmute. And you have to follow the strict rules of our schmooze conferencing. And that is, we don't have any rules. So it's freewheeling. So at this point, I'm going to stop the recording. And the recording will be available on YouTube in probably around 2 days. It'll be up at youtube.com/Volunteers for Israel. And you can watch any part of this, or you can watch the other 200 recordings we have out there that we've accumulated since June of the year 2000. So thank you very much for attending our formal presentation today. I hope you all found it worthy and useful use of your time. It certainly was of mine. I really appreciate the knowledge base now we've built up on all these complicated tasks. Normally, VFI Educates only presents on the third Thursday of every month. However, last week and this week and potentially next week, we will hold and we will announce our programs as we can develop them. They will be live from Israel. There's no promise on next Thursday, but you'll certainly receive an email with a formal announcement and description of who and where and what. So thank you very much for attending today. And I'm now going to open the floor to schmooze.
Yeah, thank you and goodbye.
Great. Laila Tov.
Thank you all. יובל, תודה רבה, המון המון תודה. I hope to see you